Bonjour, hey, and greetings to you all. You have picked a great day to join me, Joseph Mendy, here in the Euro Den. Welcome once again to the podcast that swims in the waters of the Eurovision Song Contest. There is a very big Saturday on the way, but there's also action across the week too. And today I'll be looking ahead to all that is about to come. But first, we'll be looking at the results from Austria's national final and also the advances from the latest heats. Are you sitting comfortably? Good, then we'll begin. Austria held its first national final in a decade on Friday night as Vienna Calling Wer singt für Österreich took place. The call went out to 12 artists answered that call for their bid to represent Austria at Eurovision 2026 on home turf in Vienna. A jury made up of 43 music experts as well as the Austrian public then submitted their votes, and the results were as follows. Worth noting that whilst the jury points were announced, that they were straight to the top of the overall and the public vote results were never announced in the broadcast. But I'll run down what points, if at all, each act got in the public vote. So let's run it down now. So in the overall standings, in last place was David Kurt. He was the only act not to receive a single score from the jury or the public. Philip Piller did score some points. He scored 1 point from both the juries and public for a total 2 points in 11th place. Then Reverend Stomp came 10th with 3 points, all from the jury. Sigrid Vokshi came 9th with 5 points, all from the public. We had two acts scoring 8 points, Julia Steen and Fred. Now, Fred were the community with top of the shots in the community rankings, but here they came 7th with 5 points from the jury and 3 points from the public. Whilst Julia Steen got 6 points, which is a point more than Fred, she scored a point less than Fred, and as the public vote was a tiebreaker, she's classified as 8th. So 8th for Julia, 7th for Fred. Then Anna Sophie came 9th with 7 points from the public, 2 from the jury. Then Nicotine was 5th with 11 points. And then that brings us to the top 3 who were called to the stage for the big reveal. Now, I should let you know that Kayla Kristin also scored 14 points, as did Bamlak Werner. However, Bamlak scored higher with the public. She scored 10 points, whilst Kayla Kristin only scored 6 points, even though she scored higher than Bamlak in the jury, getting 8 compared to Bamlak's 4. The public vote tiebreaker meant Kayla was 4th. And so the top 3 were in 2nd place and 3rd place were not announced. The broadcast will run them down together before we get to the winner. As I mentioned, we've got Bamlak Werner with 14 points, scoring higher with the public than Kayla Kristin, like I mentioned. Then in 2nd place was Lena Shaw with Painted Reality scoring 20 points. She scored 12 points from the jury, but only 8 from the public. That means that Cosmo is the winner with 22 points, 10 from the juries, and crucially, 12 from the Austrian public. Therefore, he has the honour of following in the footsteps of last year's winner, JJ, and also the privilege of being the Austrian host entry for Eurovision 2026 with his song Tanzshine. Let's get to know a bit more about Cosmo as it is now Profile O'Clock. Now, born in Hungary, raised in Burgenland, Austria, and now living in Vienna. The stage name Cosmo reflects his openness to the world and his fascination with the universe. Was the man behind the stage name Cosmo is Benjamin Gideon. That's the name of the singer. He's known professionally as Cosmo. He plays guitar and piano and takes vocal lessons from an opera singer in Graz. In 2022, Cosmo reached the final of The Voice Kids, and since last summer, he has been writing songs together with his producer and garage drummer Marcus Pemmer. In the same year, he founded the band The Thumbs for live performances and studio recordings. He has performed at clubs, balls, and as a warm-up act for the Starnacht am Neusiedlersee in Graz and at the Gasometer together with the voice coach Alvaro Sola. So he's performed at clubs, he's performed at balls, and now he's going to be performing on home soil at the Wiener Stadthalle at the Eurovision Song Contest, where he aims to make the audience dance, and he wants to inspire audiences and spread love through his music. And at the young age of 19, he's, I believe, the youngest contestant I think we've got so far. I've not checked the ages for most of the other acts, but I think Cosmo is probably the youngest act we've got so far. And here he is, representing his country on home soil. And as Austria won last year, they get to host this year's contest, as you well know. But winning the contest also comes with an extra privilege. They get an automatic place in the grand final as host country on Saturday the 16th of May. But the home crowd will get to cheer for Cosmo a bit earlier than that, because he'll be hitting the stage during semi-final 2 on Thursday the 14th of May for a showcase performance. So this week we saw the United Kingdom and Belgium reveal their internally selected acts, and Austria have chosen their acts through a national final. But there were no finals on Saturday night. Instead, it is all about heats and a semi-final. Let's start with Lithuania, where the fifth and final heat of Eurovisia.lt took place, with the final 8 acts performing. The results were as follows. In the jury votes, Lokita was last, then Jokibas as Jankauskas was 7th, Hansenova was 6th, Ilsenso 5th, then 4th was Matas Ligeka, also Water was 3rd, Aika was 2nd, and Lolita Zero was 1st with the juries. About Lolita Zero was also 1st with the public vote. Then Jokibas Jankauskas, then Walls of Water were 2nd and 3rd. Matas Ligeka, Ilsenso, Lokita, Aika, and Hansenova made up the rest of the running. And the total points. Last was Hansenova and Lokita, and Ilsenso, Aika, Matas Ligeka was 8th to 4th. And then the advances of the top 3 were Jokibas Jankauskas and in 3rd, and he went through to the wild card. And then the 2 acts going through to the final were Walls of Water with Unshakable and Lolita Zero with Salve in Mundum. Now, the wild card with all 3rd place acts took place after the show on Saturday evening and was open from then onwards and all day Sunday until 11 p.m. Central European Time when the votes closed. The competing acts were from Heat 1, Thomas G. From Heat 2, Greta. From Heat 3, Arimas Papekis. From Heat 4, Nora Blue. And as I mentioned, Jokibas Jankauskas from Heat 5 was also there. Now, voting closed at 11 p.m. Central European Time on Sunday. And the winner of the wildcard was announced the following morning on LRT's breakfast show, Labas Rytas Lietuva. And the name of that winner was Nora Blue with her song Hold My Own. So now we have our full set of finalists, and the winning order for the final has been revealed. For Friday's final, here it is. So opening the show will be Wugile with Ikonish Schmeitze. Then Walls of Water with Unshakable, Leon Shaker with Solo Keramas, Nora Blue with Hold My Own, the wildcard winner, Noi with Stand Up, Atakin with Dejanti Jmele, Shower with Contact, Vilnius Voices with Grijim, Lolita Zero with Salva in Mundum, Paula with Sacco, and Black Biceps with Let Me Cook. I haven't ranked any of the songs until now, mainly because the songs don't release all at once. They are often released in batches and not often sporadic. So I've waited until the final to rank the songs. So here's my ranking as well as the ranking of the community. In last place, I put Nora Blue, then 10th Vilnius Voices, then 9th Atikin, Paula is 8th, Lolita Zero is 7th, Rugila is 6th, then Noise 5th, Black Biceps 4th, then my 3rd is Walls of Water, Shower 2nd, and Leon is Sika. I'm gonna need to know how to pronounce these names because I am struggling. Anyway, Leon is my top pick for Eurovisio.lt. The community ranking, getting rid of the NQs. Bam. I'll do the top 5. Shower 5th with 5,401. Then Leon Sisa with 6,317. Nora Blue 3rd with 6,578. Rugila is second with 6,979. And the top of the ranking is Atikin with 8,588 points. The final of Eurovisio.lt will be taking place on Friday at the earlier time of 6 p.m. Central European Time on LRT. Good Lord, sorry for the yawn. And the winner of that final will be representing Lithuania in Vienna. And remember, this year there is no super final. So it's a case of whoever comes top after the votes from the jury and online public voting, that will win. Simple as that. You can definitely watch us on LRT's YouTube channel and possibly chance that same show will be on the Eurovision YouTube channel too. But we'll see where you'll be able to watch it. Malmö was the latest stop on the Melfest tour as Heat 4 saw 6 more acts perform for a place in the final. And these were the results. Smash Into Pieces and Kimberly with their songs Hollow and Eternity received their tickets direct till finalen, with Mira Omar with Duset Daram advancing to finalkvalet. But it meant Erika Jonsson, Timo Väisänen, and Felix Manu are out of the game. The Gardov Arena in Sundsvall is where the final 6 acts perform in the 6th and last heat this Saturday. And here are those competing acts now. We have Alexa with the song Tongue Tied. Now, Alexa won the short-lived American Song Contest with her song Wonderland, representing the state of Oklahoma back in 2022. And now she's out to get to Eurovision for Sweden. We also got Juliet with Langfran Alejandra, Blade with Who You Are, Lila Alfaji with Delulu, Wilhelm Buchhaus with Hearts Don't Lie, and returning to Melody Festivalen, Sanna Nilsson with Waste Your Love. Now, she represented Sweden back in 2014 with Undo. As always, there'll be snippets of the song dropping Thursday, full songs on Friday, and by then all 30 of this year's Melfests will have been released. But let's not forget that as soon as the Heat 5's results are done, we'll be moving on to the second chance round, finalkvalet. This contains all third place acts from each of the heats, including whoever comes third in this week's heat. They'll join Heat 1's third place act, Jacqueline with Woman, Heat 2's third place act, Robin Benston with Honey Honey, Heat 3's third place act, Eva Jamatate with Selfish, and the third place act from last week's Heat 4, Mira Omar with Duset Daram. So 5 acts and 2 places available. Just 2 final places. The first of those spots goes to the acts with the highest vote share in its respective heat, leaving the other 4 acts up to another public vote to decide who gets the remaining place. Tune in to SVT Play at 8 p.m. on Saturday to find out who gets those final places in the Stockholm Showdown. Portugal have commenced their national selection Festival de Canção with semi-final 1 last Saturday. 8 acts performed and 5 acts qualified for the final. These were the qualifiers. Now, in the first round of voting, Dinis Motza, Nunsa Mates or Mandarim, Ivaya, Marquisa. Those are the 4 acts that qualified from the first round of voting, determined by 50% jury and 50% public voting. Then the final spot was decided by 100% public voting, and that went to Andre Amaro, meaning Agudoce, Battermato, and Mario Marta are eliminated. Semi-final 2 is next on the agenda, with the other 8 acts involved. Those are Gonzalo Gomez, Silvana Perez, Sandrino, Francisco Fontes, Bandidos Dolcante, Jacobo and Ana Margarida, João Ribeiro, and Inês Souza. Remember that the winner of Festival de Canção doesn't necessarily have to represent Portugal at the Eurovision Song Contest. As we know, only 2 acts have said yes to ESC should they win the festival. Andre Amaro, who of course went through from semi-final 1, and Bandidos Dolcante. They'll be performing in semi-final 2 this week. And you can find 5 more acts will qualify for the final. You can find out who they will be on Saturday at 10 p.m. Central European Time on RTP1 and RTP International. This Saturday is a big night in regards to music. Here in the UK, their biggest night of British music, the Brit Awards, takes place outside of London for the first time ever, as the Brit Awards 2026 takes place in Manchester. As far as Eurovision is concerned, this Saturday is set to be the most hectic, stressful, or to put in more simple terms, busiest Saturday of the season across the continent. It is indeed another Super Saturday, where a large number of countries hold their shows all at once. But this time, we have 8 countries all holding their shows at the same time. 2 of them are dealing in semi-finals, that's Sweden and Portugal, as I covered earlier. And 5 will be selecting their acts and songs for Eurovision. But for Bulgaria, they will just be dealing with a song selection. You'll remember that back on the last day of January, Dara won the artist final of Nacionalna Selekcja back in Show 2. And with it, the right to represent Bulgaria in Vienna. But what we don't know is what song she'll perform at the contest. That is where Show 3 comes in on Saturday at 8 p.m. Central European Time on BNT. Dara will be performing 3 new songs, and those songs will be scored by a larger 10-member jury and the Bulgarian public. Both sides give 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points in order preference. So that's 3 points for the favourite, 2 points second favourite, and 1 point for the least favourite. And the song that scores highest is the song Dara Takes to Vienna. So that's Bulgaria's song selection that will be occurring, but we have 5 more countries that will be selecting both the song and artists to represent them in Vienna. For 2 of them, there are some extra shows to deal with before they get to Saturday. One of those countries with extra shows during the week is Italy, who are fresh from hosting an incredible Milan Cortina Winter Olympic Games, in which they managed to score 30 medals in total, 10 of them gold, 6 silver, and 14 bronzes. On Sunday, last Sunday just gone, those games came to an end in a closing ceremony that saw Italian beauty in action, and performances from Eurovision alumni Achille Lauro and Gabri Ponte in the Arena di Verona. Now that the Olympics are done, Italians are now shifting their focus to their prestigious Festival di Sanremo, the inspiration for the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, this is not a de facto national selection because the winner of Sanremo does not have to go forth to Eurovision for Italy. We saw that last year when Ollie won the festival but declined, hence why we had Lucio Corsi, the runner-up, going to Basel. But the winner will have first refusal of the opportunity to represent Italy. 30 acts are taking part in the festival, and here they are. Do prepare for some shoddy Italian pronunciations. Apologies in advance. And this is in the running order that was revealed a little earlier for the first night. So we have Ditonella Piaggia, or Ditonella Piaga with Che Fastidio, Michele Bravi with Prima o Poi, Saif with Tu Mi Piaci Tanto, Mara Sate with Le Cose Che Non Sai Di Me, Dagan D'Amico with Ai, Awissa with Magica Favola, Luce with Labyrinto, Tommaso Paradiso with I Romantici, Electra Lamborghini with Voila, Patti Bravo with Opera, Samurai J with Ossessione, Ralph with Ora e per Sempre, Jax with Italia Starter Pack, Fulminacci with Stupida Fortuna, Levante with Setu, Fedez and Marco Massini with Mala Necessario, Ermal Meta, Sanremo regular with Stella Stellina, Serena Brancale with Che Con Me, Knights with Premature, Malika Ayan with Animali Notturni, Eddie Brock with Avolti, Sal Da Vinci with Per Sempre Si, Enrico Nigiotti with Ogni Volta Che Non So Volare, Cedici Pietro with Uomo Che Cade, Bambola Di Pesa with Wester Con Me, Cielo with Ti Penso Sempre, Maria Antonietta and Colombra with La Felicita e Basta, Leo Gassman with Naturale, Francesco Renga with Il Meglio di Me, and LDA and aka 7 or Aka 7 with Percy Clandestine. Sanremo is made up of 5 nights. On the first night, all 30 acts perform their songs and are ranked by a press jury made up of TV and online media. Then they are split into 2 groups of 15 acts each, and they'll then perform their songs again in the second and third nights, where they'll be polled by a radio jury and the Italian public. The fourth night is a cover night, where the acts perform a cover of another song, either solo or with another singer, and that could be with a fellow competitor or from a non-competing artist from the Italian music industry. That night has no effect on the final outcome, but the press and radio juries plus the Italian public will still vote. Then all 30 acts will perform their songs one more time on the 5th and final night. Again, the press and radio juries and the Italian public will vote, and those votes from this 5th night combine with the results from the first 3 nights. And the top 5 acts go through to the super final. Yes, Sanremo is another show that has a super final round. And out of those 5, the winner of that super final wins the festival and first dibs on the opportunity to represent Italy at Eurovision. But remember, they do not have to take up the mantle. If they refuse, the opportunity will be offered to the runner-up and then the next one down until they, as in Y, the Italian broadcaster, find the Italian act. So nobody gets eliminated until during Saturday's final night. Now, Sanremo can be seen on Y1 from Tuesday to Saturday. Like, literally tonight at the time of the recording of this podcast. Dear me, sorry about that. All nights will be starting at 8:40 p.m. Central European Time, starting tonight. Serbia is another country that has extra shows within the week before the Saturday final. Their national final, Pesma za Eurovision, started back in 2022 and it's back for its 5th year. There are 24 acts taking part. Warning, inevitable Serbian pronunciation problems incoming, because I will now run down the acts taking part and my ranking and community rankings, which will follow. So we have Alexander with Sudbina, Alexandra Sekulic with Gule, Anna Mashulovic with Zavolimir, August, that's August but with the V instead of the U after the A, with Jabuka, Bella with Trampolina, Brat Pillin with Fraulein, Igor with Klaba, Gemini with the extra N, with Meta Sueche, Harem Girls, and Ivana with Bom Bom. Now you might recognize Harem Girls from last year's PZE, from last year's Pesma za Eurovision. Now, next we got Eva Grujin with Otkwivam Sebe, Jack Lupino with Adrenaline, Cosmos Trip with Sveja Uredu, Lavina with Krajmena, Laura's with Unseen, Luca with Veru, Macau with Dar Namsver, Manivi with Svakidan, Melisha Bawaza with Svima Vama Treba Mama, Myrna with Omaya, Sanya Alexic with Komeproba, Yanks with Srushio Sisve, Zena with Yugoslavia, Zona with Kairi, and Dodica with Moma Mala. Right, I've did a ranking of the songs, so I'm going to run that down now, if I can locate it. And there's 24 songs here. I'm only doing the top 10. So my 10th place is Jack Lupino. Then Igor's my 9th. Sanya Alexic, 8th. Luca, 7th. Lavina, 6th. Alexander's 5th. August, 4th. My 3rd is Macau. My 2nd place is Gemini. And my number 1 is the Cosmos Trip. What about the community rankings on my Eurovision scoreboard? Here's their top 5. In 5th is Myrna with 5,833 points. Alexander, 6,519 in 4th. Harem Girls and Ivana, 9,168 points in 3rd. Then Zona with 9,334 points in 2nd. But with a commanding lead with 12,670 points, Zena is on top of the community ranking here. Now, 2 semi-finals are to be held on Tuesday and Thursday. So tonight, at the time of recording, and in 2 days' time. And here are the splits. So, in semi-final 1 tonight, we've got Myrna, Cosmos Trip, Eva Guyin, Igor, Macau, Laura's, Manivi, Bella, Yanks, Zena, Anna Masulovic, and Dudica. In semi-final 2 this Thursday, Alexander, Milica Buraza, I think I might pronounce the surname wrong, Sanya Alexic, Luca, Jack Lupino, Zona, Brat Pillin, Gemini, August, Harem Girls, and Ivana, Alexandra Sekulic, and Lavina. Both semi-finals will provide 7 qualifiers, making it a final of 14 acts on Saturday, and whoever triumphs there becomes Serbia's representative. All shows start at 9 p.m. Central European Time and can be seen on the RTS Pesma Eurovision YouTube channel. The next country that I am going to be placing under the microscope is the country that, well, let's be honest, has dominated the Winter Olympics medal table for years now, including topping the 2026 Winter Olympics medal table with an incredible 18 golds, 12 silvers and 11 bronzes for an overall total of 41 medals that they departed Milan Cortina with, thanks to that incredible squad, including the likes of Birkrud and, more to the point, the superhuman that is Johannes Husflut Klæbo, who scooped an incredible 6 medals out of 6, making Klæbo one of the if probably the greatest Winter Olympian of all time, certainly of this generation. I am, of course, talking about 3-time Eurovision champions, Norway. They'll be choosing their act, as always, via Melodi Grand Prix. Like with Esti Laul in Estonia, Melodi Grand Prix also had semi-finals leading up to the big final previously. However, last year, Norwegian broadcaster NRK got rid of the semi-finals, reducing it to just a one-night final. 8 acts were chosen directly by NRK, with a 9th act determined by a so-called MGP Cup. This was a tournament bracket-style series of duels, and the winner of that would make the main show. I'll be running down my ranking and the community rankings in a moment, but before that, here are the 9 acts going for Norway's ticket to Vienna. First, the acts that were chosen directly. We had Alexander Rybak, 2009 Eurovision champion with Fairy Tale, and then returned to Eurovision in 2018 with That's How You Write a Song, which was song 1500 at the time. And now he's back in Melodi Grand Prix with the song Rise. Also competing, we have Emma with her song Northern Lights. Now Emma, want to know something? Emma Gunnarsson. She is the younger sister of Marcus and Martinus, the Norwegian twins that represented Sweden back in 2024 with the song Unforgettable. What am I saying? No, Unforgettable was the song Marcus and Martinus represented Sweden with in Malmö back in 2024. And their sister Emma is now representing their native Norway with Northern Lights. So music seems to run in the Gunnarsson family. We also have Hedda May with Snapback competing, Jonas Love with Ya Ya Ya, Leonardo Amor with Prayer, Milo, whichever way it's pronounced, I have no idea. But he's back with Frankenstein. Now, he competed in Melodi Grand Prix 2 years ago with You're Mine. We have Silke with Forevermore and Storm with Lullaby. And as for the MGP Cup, that was... Oh, it doesn't even show anymore, but there were the acts that competed in the Melodi Grand Prix Cup. Oh, it doesn't even show it on Eurovision World now, but let's get Google up. There were several artists who used duels, I know that much, and the acts that competed included Emmy, who represented Ireland rather. Emmy represented Ireland at Eurovision last year with Like a Party. And she competed again but this time in the Melodi Grand Prix Cup with Six Finn. We also had Goth Minister, who competed in Melodi Grand Prix in 2024, like Milo. But he returned with The Spell, featuring Thomas Jensen, who also competed in the cup as a solo artist with Small Town. We also had Whaley, who has competed in Melody Grand Prix a few times now, last time with Hero, and of course Wild, like in 2020 and what was it, 2022 or 21? I can't remember what it was. We had Wild and Hero, and she had Where Did Your Friend Go? So we had Tom Jensen, we had Aranya with Pajama Song, and Sander Silva and Victorious with Fritfall. But the winner, we also had Vika Anonymous with Har du it vori partoten. But the winner of the cup, and therefore taking that last place with, is Skrillex with Into the Wild. Now Skrillex is another act who's competed in Melody Grand Prix previously. Apologies for any stutters or mistakes that went on there. I was trying to realize that words hardly come to me. Anyway, so we have those 9 acts up competing: Alexander Rybak, Emma, Heather May, Jonas Love, Leonardo Amor, Milo, Silka, Skrillex, and Storm. Now for my ranking. Let's find it. Here it is. Now, my 9th place is Alexander Rybak. 8th is Leonardo Amor. 7th, Skrillex. Silka is 6th. Jonas Love is 5th. Heather May 4th. Storm is 3rd. Emma 2nd. And my number 1 is Milo. The community ranking actually has those two in the top 2, just inverted. But let's just go down from bottom to top. So Leonardo's 9th with 9,061. Alexander Rybak 10,518 in 8th. Jonas Love 13,738 points in 7th. Heather May is 6th with 14,579. Then Skrillex 15,504. Storm 15,774 in 5th and 4th. Silka 18,914. Milo 24,939 points in 2nd, and number 1 is Emma with 27,514 points. Now, in the last 2 years, the ratio between the international juries and the Norwegian public was at 60-40, leaning more towards the public, with 60% and juries getting 40% of the say. I imagine that'll be the same here this year too. Find out who gets the gig for Norway on Saturday night on NRK. And of all the shows this Super Saturday, Melody Grand Prix has the earliest start time available at 7:45 Central European Time. Finland's national final, Uuden musiikin kilpailu, better known as UMK or UMK for short, has been steadily rising among the ranks to become one of the best national finals on the Eurovision circuit in recent years. And it has clearly delivered the goods since its revamp at the start of this decade, with the last 5 winners of UMK delivering 5 straight qualifications to the grand final. Even though they've had some hits and misses in the grand final in regards to results. Obviously, they had big results with Blind Channel and Karia, with the latter coming very close to winning the 2023 contest with Cha Cha Cha. They also had a bit of a miss with Windows 95 Man with No Rules in 2024, along with the Rasmus 2 years prior in 2022. And they had a decent-ish result. I think it was just outside the top 10 for Erika Vickman last year. 7 acts compete in UMK, with the competing songs being released nightly on weeknights, 1 song per night until all 7 have been released in preparation for the final. No semi-finals here, just the one big final. I have given the songs a listen and ranked them, but first here are the acts competing in this year's UMK, and this will be in the running order that they'll be competing in. So, let's see what my pronunciations will be like here. We have Komiats with Lulilai, Etta with $1 Million Smile, Kiki with Wakao Depkipin, no, Wakaudenkipe, Antti Palanen with Takatuka, Chachi with Cherry Cake, Senika Monti with Ready to Leave, and Linda Lapinius and Petter Parkinen with Likihinting. Here's my ranking of the UMK songs coming up right about now. So my 7th place is Senika Monti. Chachi is my 6th, then Kiki, then Antti in 6th, 5th, and 4th. My 3rd place is Etta. Komiat is 2nd, and my top pick is Linda and Petter. The community rankings seem to agree with me with the number 1, but from bottom to top, here they are. Senika Monti 7th with 24,298 points. Komiat 6th with 24,663. Chachi 27,263. Then Antti Palanen 27,571. That's 5th and 4th. Etta's 3rd with 29,968. Kiki is 2nd with 35,082. And number 1 is Linda and Petter with 39,987 points. So both myself and the community on my Eurovision scoreboard have the same winner in mind. Of all the national finals, UMK has the most lopsided voting ratio, with the Finnish public always having the final say because they decide 75% of the overall result. The international juries only account to 25% of the vote. So as we saw back in 2024, and that could be leading after the jury vote, as we saw with Sara Sipola, and she was the big favourite among the Eurofans with Paskana. But as we saw, Windows 95 Man went from last in the jury votes to winning the whole show in a reversal of fortune, mainly helped by the public. Because remember, the public have 75% of the final say. I should let you know that Yle, the Finnish broadcaster Yle's entertainment executive producer Juha Lahti, as we stated earlier today, that the winner of UMK is not obliged to compete in Eurovision. The winner will be announced in a statement, and I quote, "The winner will be announced on Saturday, and then we'll go with it. We'll discuss the matter with the winner as soon as the competition is decided." Now, probably this is very much to do with the continued participation of Israel, of course. And of course, we already see a few artists have stated no to participation across Europe. I said no to participating if Israel's still there. And of course, at the height of the Israel drama in 2024, I do remember Jesse Markin, who competed in UMK that year in 2024, said that he would not go to Eurovision if he ended up winning. And Sini Sabotage also said that she would be having to think before deciding whether she would have gone to Eurovision had she won. But of course, no, it never came to be for either of them. But there were doubts there at the time. So who knows what will happen, and I wonder which way this will go and which one will go to Eurovision for Finland. All shall be known on Saturday at 8 p.m. on Yle, and there is an option to watch UMK with English language commentary. So I covered Sweden, Portugal, Lithuania, Bulgaria, Italy, Serbia, Norway, and Finland. So no, Lithuania will be selecting on Friday. Sweden, Portugal, Bulgaria, Italy, Serbia, Norway, and Finland will all be doing their shows on Saturday. Let me just check it. Yep, Lithuania Friday, Norway, Bulgaria, Sweden, Finland, Italy, Serbia, and Portugal on Saturday. But there are 8 countries listed for Saturday. So there's basically still one more country to talk about for this Super Saturday. That country goes by the name of Germany, who after years of participation under broadcaster NDR, who have handled German participation since 1996, this year it's changed hands, with SWR taking over the reins for the third time, and the first since 1978. Germany's national final has undergone many names in the past, like Unser Lied für wherever, Germany 12 points, and Chefsache ESC. This year, the German national final is once again called Das Deutsche Finale, as it was previously known for 2024, but they've now brought that name back for 2026. Seriously? Can we just stick to one name for the selection and be done with it? God forbid. Anyway, we have 9 acts involved in this particular selection. I have run the songs through my ears and put together a ranking for those songs. But let's look at the acts and songs taking part before I share it with you. In alphabetical order, I should let you know. So we've got Bella with Herds, Dream Boys the band with Genie, Laura Na with Wonderland, Malu Lovis with When I'm With You, Molly Sue with Optimist, ha ha ha, Mile with A-OK, Wagaski with Ciao Wagaski, Sarah Engels with Fire, and Wavy Boy with Black Glitter. Now, my ranking. Let's find it and let me spell it out. So my 9th is Bella, getting 2 points. Molly Sue, 8 with 3 points. Wagaski is 7th for me. Wagaski's 7th for me. Laura Na with 6th place. Sarah Engels is my 5th. Miles 4th for me. Dream Boys, the band, is 3rd. Malu Lovis is my 2nd place. And my 1st place is Wavy Boy. The community rankings are as follows. Dream Boys, 11,024 points at the bottom of the pile. Malu Lovis, 12,651 points, 8th. Wagaski, 7th, 15,568. Mile, 15,915. Wavy Boy, 18,251 points, so that's 6th, 5th done. 4th, Bella, 18,587. Then Molly Sue, 19,401. Laura Na, 21,191 points, and the overwhelming favourites here is Sarah Engels with 24,427 points for her song Fire. The jury, now there will be 2 rounds of voting here, as Das Deutsche Finale is another one of those selections that utilises a super final round. The jury and the public vote are involved, as you would, but they play different roles. All 9 acts perform in the first round, then that field is whittled down to 3 super finalists. However, the super finalists will be decided purely by an international jury. An international jury made up of 20 people. Now, that jury has been revealed a little bit earlier in the afternoon. So, the jury of 20 people includes the likes of William Lee Adams from Eurovision fan sites Wee Wee Blogs, Luca Hani, who represented Switzerland in 2019, Margaret Berger, who represented Norway in 2013, Destiny from Malta, who won Junior Eurovision in 2015 and represented Malta in the adult contest in 2021, having been selected for the 2020 contest that was eventually cancelled. Via Dotas, the lead singer of The Whoop, who represented Lithuania, again, would have gone for 2020, but eventually represented Lithuania in 2021. Carla, who represented France at Junior Eurovision back in 2019 and hosted that very same contest in 2021. And on the subject of Junior Eurovision, Roxy Vegiel, Poland's first Junior Eurovision champion from 2018. We also have Wozlana, winner of Eurovision 2004 for Ukraine, and Krista Bjorkman, who represented Sweden in 1992 and was, of course, the executive producer, along with was a part of the contest production team. for the main contest. Those are just some of the names featured on the international jury that will choose the 3 super finalists. Then out of those 3 remaining acts, the power shifts over to the German public. And it'll be the viewers' vote alone that decides who will be making a short hop, skip and jump to Vienna as Germany's representative. Who will follow in the footsteps of Abel and Tina? Tune in to Das Erste One and online on the ARD Mediathek platform this Saturday at 8:15 p.m. Central European Time to find out. I think that's all the shows for the week ahead, and yes, as you have gathered already, it's a lot of shows to keep track of, especially on Saturday night. So it's fair to say that a lot of screens may be needed to keep across them all. Mind you, there is always the ESC Plus Live Multi-View, which shows all the shows at once, and the link to that page is in the description of the episode. Under that description is the comments box where you can leave reviews and a rating, and you can do that wherever you are listening to this podcast where available. There is also the Instagram page at Eurodone_pod, where you can find artist confirmations and maybe a little bit more. The very voice of me talking about where to leave reviews and rating, as well as plugging our Instagram page, should be a loud enough signal to say that we are very sadly out of time on this particular occasion. But just before I scamper off, another Eurovision-related quiz question rocked up on another British quiz show last Sunday just gone. This time on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it also mentions the FIFA World Cup, which will take place in the USA, Canada, and Mexico this summer. Here's that question. Let me find it. And it's a multiple choice, this one. Which of these statements is true of both the first Eurovision Song Contest and the first Men's FIFA World Cup? A. Won by the host country. B. Held in the 1950s. C. Broadcast live on UK television. Or D. Contested by 13 nations. So that's the question. Well, and that really is all we've got time for. Enjoy this mammoth week of national selections, and on the next episode we'll talk about those successful acts, and I'll also give you the answer to that aforementioned question. For now, as they say in Finland, hyvästi. Mind how you go.